Hello and welcome to episode 47. So I thought we'd do a little quick recap, and you got to excuse the frame rate in this area because it's going to load a whole bunch of stuff in, and it's jerky over here. So we've got our current medium factory that we've basically outgrown. We're making all the things, but we're at the limit of it, and it's full, and I've got more things to make for the last year, and I can't really make them there. So it's time for the mega factory, and instead of building the mega factory, though, and then trying to bring everything to it, I'm trying to get everything set up first, right? So currently, we've got the medium factory. We've got over on the West Coast, on the Gold Coast, we've got our oil refinery. It's making plastic and rubber and taking it there. And then over here on my left and just behind all these rocks, we've got our little quartz outpost. It's getting quartz and taking it there. That's it. That's all we've got going right now for trains is the oil refinery and the quartz outpost are both taking things to the medium factory. But we're setting up for the mega factory. And yeah, it's stuttering a lot. A lot of performance problems in the south part of the map here. So we've got our rocket fuel plant. It's up and running. We're making 288 gigawatts of power, so that should be plenty of power for a long time. It's using only one oil node. There's a bunch of extra oil nodes. So 2 episodes ago, I was working on this train station right here, which we're going to finish here in a little bit. Just got some cosmetic stuff underneath. But I've got a train sitting there, and it's going to fill up with a ton of oil, and it's going to leave. We don't have anywhere for it to go yet. And then let me skip up ahead here to the next area. Okay, and then over here in the swamp, we've got our aluminum foundry, which is making, I think like 2,000 or something aluminum ingots a minute, something like that. And it's getting all turned into alcad sheets and the aluminum casings. They are all coming down and they are all getting loaded onto a train as well that has nowhere to go. So I've got this train full of aluminum. It's gonna go to the mega factory when it's built. I could send the train of oil. Oh, and also the rocket fuel plant, it's got compacted coal and it's got a bunch of the extra polymer resin. It could go to the mega factory as well. And we could just have our, oil processing there and do plastic and rubber, but I don't want to. I mean, I could, I just don't want to. I could send that extra polymer resin and all that oil from that new train that we're working on today. I could send it to the existing oil refinery, but I don't want to do that. So we're going to need a lot more plastic and rubber for the mega factory, a lot more than we're currently producing. So up in the top part of the map, there's another big area of oil. I'm going to build another oil refinery up there, but we're going to send all the oil from over here up there, and we're going to send the plastic or the polymer resin to make plastic and rubber from the rocket fuel plant up there, right? So basically we're getting all this stuff set up and we're getting it all loaded onto all these trains, and none of these trains are going anywhere quite yet. But the last thing we need to do before we go up to the north part of the map and start working on the new and big oil refinery is I need to finish this train station off. So hopefully I'm on the right track. The station itself is done and operating. I need to fill this in here with a wall, which the backside's not bad. Up here in the front, we need to fill this in and make it look good, right? Make it look good. And I've been experimenting. I've got a couple blueprints and I've been playing with them, and it's kind of like this. This isn't it though, but let me throw a couple blueprints down and show you. But I got the blueprints set up, so I just got to throw them all down real quick. It looks okay. I'm trying to make it look somewhat realistic, and no matter how I do the blueprint, there's going to be these pieces of rock sticking out, and it just doesn't look as good. But in order to hide all those rocks, I end up way too far out. So it's a compromise. But let me throw a bunch of these blueprints down and then show you what it's going to look like here. I haven't actually built this I've built it in creative, testing it out, but I didn't really consider each one of these is 1,300 concrete. So I should have loaded up some concrete. But this is the basic blueprint here. This one is the actual blueprint. I need to tear those two down because those were experimenting. Yeah, 1,300 concrete. So let me go ahead and place that. So it's got a little trim piece up here. It's got, this kind of bit of diagonal and then straight down. And there's another blueprint that goes below this that just continues this down. And here's an example of just doesn't look good because that rock sticks out there, especially right there, that rock sticks out. But I've spent a few hours experimenting with different things, and no matter what, there's going to be some rocks stick out, just the nature of it, and I can't really do much about it. But I'm trying to give it the impression of kind of like a giant concrete dam, but then it's got an overhang, and it looks like the overhang's supported. And for the pipes to kind of shoot through here, I've got the cool circle, so you can kind of get through with that, and I think that looks pretty good. So let me, I probably need to go back to the medium factory and load it up on a bunch of concrete, but let me go ahead and throw this down. I gotta, throw the whole way down and then come back to the sections, and there's an underneath blueprint, and then we'll be back in a second, which I should have enough concrete stored up at the medium factory. It's just a matter of getting it all over here. Never have I felt more like I was playing Space Engineers than right now. I've got these pieces, and it's, oh man. If you've ever played Space Engineers, you know exactly what I'm doing. Trying to make those pieces, but there's just two different ones, but they go together in a certain way, and I'm way out here over the void, so I'm trying to kind of ramp it back. I need it to come out some, but just for the track. So I don't need like a ton of stuff out here. So I got that side, and then I'm over here and I'm trying to match this side, and oh boy. I got the front done. I'm working on the back. Yeah, it's not going to look the best over here, but I mean, how often are people going to be all the way down here at the end? All right, I think I've got the main underneath part done. There's still a couple things to do on top, but the backside's easy. This is just a blueprint I've used a couple times, a little retaining wall blueprint, and it comes all the way down here. There is some hole that goes down. I don't know if that connects to the cave that's down there or not, but I just kind of sealed it off. The little glass there, I don't think anybody will ever even see that. Probably no one would have found it, even if you downloaded my map and played it. Probably no one would have found that if I didn't point it out. Over here on the front side, like I said, I like the design I came up with. Some of the rocks, like from here, especially with my hand in the way, it's like, oh, that looks pretty good. I wish that rock wouldn't stick. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, too far from my power. There's certain spots that I like, and yeah, those two train stations stick through that floor. If you remember that from a previous episode, there's certain spots I like right here. I like how that looks. That looks good. And it's like, I wish that rock wasn't there. That one's A-okay, I guess. It is what it is. I think when you get back here, let me get way back to the other building. Okay, we're way back here and I'm in picture mode. So I think there's certain spots, if I zoom in like that, it's like, yeah, just that little rock, those two rock pieces that stick out. But like overall, kind of getting back and looking at it, it doesn't look like that train station is floating up in the sky. It looks like, oh, you were right there on the ledge and you kind of built a retaining wall and you've got a little bit of an overhang, and I think it looks fairly realistic. Okay, let me show you the back, which no one's really going to see the back, right? No one's going to see it. It's not horrible. So we've got our little cantilever off the edge here over the void, and it's just the train track itself that goes around, right? It's just the track. So it's okay. Yeah, probably it needs a diagonal there. But if I do that, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's going to look weird. And then I got the retaining wall here, and I kind of had to stop it. Technically, I could have continued, but it would keep continuing. So it just kind of, it is what it is. I don't think that looks bad. I mean, that's pretty thick. With that much structure, that would easily support just the train going around. Yeah, I could probably add some diagonal or something in there. But again, nobody's going to see it. And then you've got that. I still need to do something here to try to make this look like the train tunnel is going in. Yeah, those pipes kind of stick in just a little bit. And I don't know how that got deleted. Obviously, I did that, but I don't know when I did that. And then, yeah, we got the back there. So it's almost done. Just a couple little things, like that. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. And I don't know, like, how much detail I want to add. I went ahead and added this fence here. And just performance-wise, you get into stuff like that, and it's like, okay, that's a lot of fences all the way down and then all the way on the backside. And performance is still good here. I feel really good. And honestly, I think the game runs fine as long as you don't move. It's when I start moving and it has to try to load in a whole bunch of stuff. And that's just kind of the issue. I can't go any higher, can I? Hold on. If I can get high enough here with the decoupled camera, I can. And that's just the issue, is that as we move around here, we've got the medium factory. If I'm at the medium factory and I come this way, because the medium factory, there's a ton of stuff there. It's got to load in this, and then, yeah, the aluminum foundry, right? And then if I'm at the medium factory and I go that way, then the oil refinery's over there, which I don't think I'll be able to see it. I can see it from the medium factory. Oh, I can see it. It's right there. That's the only spot we can see it, is right through that little right through that little hole. You can see the power tower and then the building behind it. But anyway, so we've just got a lot going on over here. My field of view feels like really fisheyed. Zoom that far out. I guess that's literally how field of view works. But anyway, so it's basically done. I could detail some more stuff. I know I'm going to do something here in a second. I'm going to cover up the train tunnel. I don't know how much more details I should add just for performance reasons, but otherwise I think we're kind of done with this. And then I don't know. We're going to go to the oil refinery now. Let me think. Yeah, this should like actually extend back further. I don't know. I don't know how much time I want to put into this. So what I was going for, a lot of times when you see trains go through the mountains and they're right up against like the mountain or their cliff or whatever, they'll build what's called a snow shed. And it kind of looks like a tunnel, but it's not really a tunnel. And it's just because that's an avalanche area. And if a bunch of snow comes flying down, it'll hit the snow shed or avalanche shelter or whatever you want to call it. And it'll fly over the track and it won't take the track out. So it's kind of what I was going for here. Of course, if really a rock fell, it would be like catastrophic because we would just deflect it into all the oil pipes. So, I added like a little reinforcement there to just these pipes, but I mean, it's, yeah. And then, this should go up all the way, but, this back here is much better. This is the way it should be, where there's a gap, right? And there's the retaining wall. That's how you would really build it. Because then if a rock fell, there's plenty of room for it to build up before it comes up here and does anything. Anyways, I don't think I'm going to put that much more effort into that. Okay, last thing I'm doing, I'm putting signs up. I mean, we already had signs there warning about the swamp, but sign there, sign there. I went down to the aluminum foundry and changed those signs because before, from the aluminum foundry this way, the first thing you were going to come to is rocket fuel or quartz. Well, now the first thing you're going to come to is here, which I'm calling the Blue Crater oil pickup, apparently, since that's what I named it on the train station. So, yeah, we've got aluminum foundry to the right and then rocket fuel. And it's rocket fuel and quartz. It's the same exit, but I don't really want to change how I'm doing the signs. So I've changed all the signs down there. I've got this sign set. I've got this one here. So this one's rocket fuel and quartz. And then if you come over here, it'll show you that you've got Blue Crater and then the aluminum foundry. And for the aluminum foundry area, I went ahead and said that the next one's the mega factory. And then the one after that's the North Oil Refinery, because that'll be what will happen is the mega factory will be here and the North Oil Refinery will be up here. So that should be correct. Who knows? Maybe I'll change something. I'm going to work my way back through this way and change these signs, though. I'm not sure I like this. I didn't have that. Those two were just blank, and it was just rocket fuel plant this way, and this side said nothing. I did that down there, though, and now I'm looking at this. I'm like, well, I should do it the same, but then I did that, and it's like, well, I don't think that's confusing, right? Like, I don't think it's confusing. I don't know. I'm still back and forth on the signs because I kind of go between two different standards. And I do think we have enough exits through here now. I want to make a second kind of sign that's not an overhead sign, that's kind of on the side, and it's a bigger one. And it would be like before you got to the medium factory, it would say medium factory, then quartz and rocket fuel and Blue Crater, and kind of list like the next 5 or 6 exits in order. Maybe we even like have like how far it is, What? Of course, well, no, we shouldn't put how far it is because I think when you do the distance, this map feels really big. But if you had a bunch of exits on a train line and you're like 500 meters and the exit after that's 500 meters and the exit after that's 500 meters, it's like, okay, that's actually all really close together. So no, we won't do the distance. But yeah, see, like right there, should I have exit only on the left side? I don't know. I'm undecided. Because when you look at that sign, both of those are for if you're traveling this direction on the right-hand track, right? The left track doesn't go to the oil refinery. So when I point the sign down, I'm saying that track. So this track is rocket fuel plant. Otherwise, when the arrows point up, we're talking about the track you're on going this way. Both of those signs are for this track. That specifically is for that track. Putting that X there, it's like, okay, I need like are you pointing down or are you pointing, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the X there is more confusing because how are you on this track anyway? You're like, yeah, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to go get rid of the other one too. I think our standard is when you're on the correct side, which you should always be on the right, except for this little spot up here. When you're on the correct side, both signs are for you in general for this track, and the arrows always point up. The only time the sign is specific for the track that's under the sign is when the arrows point down. So like here, I'm going to take exit only off. I'm just going to get rid of those two. I don't know. It makes more sense here because this is backwards. These are backwards. That one is the exit track. So maybe this is the only place I should do that because I did reverse these two and you're actually driving. There's no way to get on the wrong track though, unless you just put the train on the wrong track. But I'm tempted to leave this one and only this one just because it's backwards. But then it's different from the standard. You can't have one standard. You just have to have exceptions. Because yeah, even over here at the aluminum foundry, well, that one I did completely. Oh, because that's only one track. You can't have an X there. Now this one I put an X on, but I think that one makes sense because that is the exit only track. Oh, it's different. It's different. That one technically should be like that one with just one thing in the middle, but I guess I didn't want to do that. I don't know. It just bothers me so much when I have like, there should just be a standard and it's the same. And it bothers me when it's not quite the same. So I guess our standard is the signs, no matter how many they are, always are for you on your right-hand track facing the sign. The only exception is if the arrows point down, then they're specifically talking about those specific tracks. I guess that makes sense, right? That's talking about the right-hand track because there's only one track. I guess that makes sense. The only other exception would be back there at the blue crater. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because this is one of the other ones that kind of bothers me is it's like, the way I'm doing it is the one on the right is the next exit. So the next exit's aluminum foundry, and then after that's blue crater oil pickup, right? But then the foundry's over on the left, but I don't know. It's not the same. Yeah. Right, and then there it's like on the left, the aluminum foundry is the next exit, but the right one is supposed to be the next one. Yeah. I don't know. It's just going to be one of those things where I can't have just one specific standard. I could, I don't know. I'm probably we're spending too much time on this. It is what it is. Let me just keep moving towards the medium factory and change those signs. I don't know what to do. I think the big thing is on the highway, the next exit is on the bottom right, and then the exit after that is above. And the issue is I made those because I made those large billboards. I didn't want to have the thing get super tall. So that's why I'm on the left and the right, but it makes less sense. If you had it one over the other, like that sign straight ahead, I think I changed all these so I can go forward. Like this sign straight ahead, if medium factory was on the right, just like it is, and then oil refinery was above that, you would know, okay, the oil refinery is after the medium factory. But then the sign gets too tall. Yeah, it is what it is. I probably said that 3 times already. Let me change these signs and then we'll do something else. And you know, this one makes sense because it's got the down arrows. I think that's totally fine. You can refer to the individual tracks. I think that's fine because that applies to both tracks. Oil refinery, and then after that, we're calling the new one the North Oil Refinery. I guess this one's going to be the West Oil Refinery. The West one and then the North one. I don't think there's going to be anything. And, you know, I'm okay with that because that's referring to both of those tracks. Yeah. Yeah, so these are technically backwards, but then when I did it the other way, where you had the next exit on the right, then it was like that's the up arrow, and then that one is the left arrow, and this seemed to look better. Yeah. Well, let me fix these signs, and then we'll actually go do something that's new and exciting. Do I need to change that name to West Oil Refinery? That's a lot of work up there on the, I'm talking about the top of the building. I don't really want to. I'm going to change the name of the train station too. I don't think that'll mess up the train, but it might. We'll find out. All right, looks like it updated the timetable just fine just by me editing the station. So that's the West Oil Refinery. And then, of course, we've got the blank one because if I start the mega factory, I can have a train here pick stuff up and take it to the mega factory while that one is still taking stuff to the medium factory. And I should rename the medium factory to medium factory instead of main base because that'll be confusing later. But I'm already this way. I do need to go back to the, I'm not going to change the train station now, but I do need to go back and get concrete if we're actually going to go build something. I think I'm going to do something right now I should have done a long time ago. Yeah, I want to go get started on the North Oil Refinery. It's going to take a lot of concrete, and we know from building other big projects, end up having to come back here to fill up on concrete, steel plates, and that kind of stuff, and it's kind of annoying with the train. I made myself this little siding track where I can manually drive back over here, but then I have to put myself on that and then stop. I could set the train to one of these two stations, but then when I get back over here, I have to stop. I have to shut it off and still get on that track. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to expand this out. We're going to put a third train station here, and I'm going to set it up to bring concrete and steel plates and some steel beams and some other things in, and I'm going to have a construction train because I'm going to need it to build the mega factory. And it won't be an automated, it'll be an automated train in that they'll be in the timetable, but I can just get in the train and tell it to go back to base, and it'll drive me back here. It'll load all the stuff up that I need. And then once I have a train station for North Oil Refinery or whatever, I can just tell it to go back there. Or it could just technically drive in circles on its own and just keep bringing me stuff. But either way, I probably should have done that a long time ago. I didn't really do it in the first place here because I'm like, oh, there's not quite enough room because I wanted to give myself plenty of room for lots of stations because I didn't know what we were going to do. But the station I want to build now, it doesn't need to be that long. We can, squeeze it in here. And yeah, it's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to get around this curve. We're going to have to come around tighter and come back in, or come back in there and come around and come into it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It doesn't have to be, super high speed or anything because it's not going to get used except during mega construction projects. But this is probably something I should have done a long time ago. I could probably sneak through here too, because obviously don't need this many. I've got all these extra stations on here. If we never end up using it, I could take that off and we could just kind of sneak it over, and I can make it pretty sharp. I'm going to have to get the conveyors from in the middle through here, but I can technically come in here. I don't know what level we're at, but I could technically just come in here and tunnel through. Oh, well, we're at this level. I could tunnel through and bring conveyors in and then shoot through over to here. That should work. I think this is going to work. I was trying to just look through the blueprints. Like I know we've had to go through tons of concrete and steel beams. The only time I felt like I've had to get steel or plates. Are they steel plates? I thought I've had to get plates before, but I don't remember. I know the only time we ran out of rods is when we were doing the rocket fuel plant because it had all those fences. I feel like I've had to get the encased industrial beams before, but I don't remember for sure. Definitely concrete though. Definitely concrete and steel beams. Should I make like one plate, one rod, and one encased? I mean, that's kind of a waste though if I don't need it. I'm thinking maybe we'll just do concrete and steel beams, and then we'll leave a few and we'll see what we run out of. But man, I really feel like I've had to do the encased. But anyways, if I bring this station up, even with this station, which means I gotta swing it over and connect in, and it's going to be sharp. It's going to be sharp in the, it doesn't matter though, because it's not an automated train. But if I do, I think I have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I had like 3 concrete and 2 steel beam and an extra one, at this point, I think I could turn out and get back onto that track. I could also go this way and go around and go back, but I think that's silly if we can go this way. I cannot put one more on though, because that's gonna push me into this, and height wise we would have to go up like 8 meters at least. to get on top of that, and I don't really want to do that. That would put me at a closer height to the main line, but this goes downhill the whole way, so we'd have to add a third one that instead of going downhill might even go uphill slightly, and then yeah, anyways, we're not going to get into all that. So I think this is where it's going to go. I've got, you know, plenty of space in here where I can pop up from underneath, and we'll run. I guess we're just going to do concrete and steel beams. So I'm thinking, do I need 3 concrete and 2 steel beam? Honestly, I would like 4 concrete and 2 steel beam, but then I'm out of stations. And even if I slam this over to here, it doesn't help me. Now, if I slammed it over that way farther, I still don't know. Oops. If I instead went all the way to like as far over as I could, that still doesn't really help me, right? Like it would let me add one more station. I could add one more station if I move the whole thing over this way. I don't think that's really, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I don't think that's too bad. I just put a bunch of foundations out because I wasn't sure how far out I had to go. Just get rid of, ooh, that was an autosave. Even that's a little close. We'll have to get our little retaining wall back in there and kind of clean this angle up, but that's not too sharp. That's not too sharp for just the construction train because you're not going to see it run back and forth a whole bunch of times. So yeah, I guess this is going to work. I just wish I had, the other thing would be to switch these two and make, because the quartz train's always going to be short, and put it here and then have the construction train there, but I don't want to get into all that. I don't want to get into all of that. Yeah, we're just going to keep going, even though I'm not happy. Yeah, I wish I had space for like 2 or 3 more stations, because if I could have 4 concrete, 2 steel beam, and then have like a couple more stations to see, like on a mega project, what do I run out of? Got the station mostly done. So the new station's right here, and each of the inputs, I guess, into the station, I've got a storage container. So I'm planning to have 3 concrete and I guess 2 steel beam. It probably should be 4 concrete and 2 steel beam, but I was trying to keep an extra one. I mean, we could change it later, but anyways, each station's got its own container, and then the conveyor goes down through the floor, and then down here each conveyor comes down, and it's got 2 storage containers. So the input would bring concrete in, around into that, and then up. So there's basically 3 of the big storage containers for each train station, so we can hold a tremendous amount of concrete over here. Then these 3 all combine together, or they all come from this single belt, which comes from that container. These 2 then would be the steel beams. I'm getting performance problems over here, and I think that was also an autosave. These 2 come from this storage container, and then this one does nothing. I should probably just change it now to 4 concrete and 2 steel beam, honestly. I probably should. And then this will come back here and kind of come from this way, and then I'm going to use these 2, because we never use these bottom lines under our existing conveyors that come over from these stations. So yeah, let me just make it 4 concrete and 2 steel beam, because I know I'm going to need so much more concrete. Okay, I changed it. I'm going to have 4 concrete and 1 steel beam, and then I'm not going to hook this one up yet. And we'll see if that needs to be the second steel beam or if it needs to be something else. I think that's probably the better way to do it. So I've just got to come back here, and I've got to run these 2 conveyors underneath, which we've already got from building this train station originally. We've already got all these all the way back over to underneath the medium factory. And then once I get those 2 conveyors under here, now I've just got to find a way up. I don't even know that I can fit through here. I've just got to get a way up into the factory and bring concrete and steel beams down, which, you know, they'll be down here, probably down in this area somewhere. So let me figure that out. I went up there. The logistics floor is just 1 floor up, and the concrete, yeah, the concrete is here, and then the steel beams are there. So I just brought them both over, split them off, brought them down. That brings us down to here. I can sneak them right under here, and then we're actually going right there. So I just got to go from there to there, and that train station will start filling up. So it really wasn't that hard. I probably spent more time over here. That's not how to get through. There's not a good way. This is all glass. Never really made a pedestrian way to get over to the train station that was easy. I spent way more time down here underneath the train station messing with foundations than I literally did anything else. And none of this took nearly as long as I spent over at the Blue Crater. So Yeah. Let me hook those two up, and that'll start filling up with resources. All right, here we go. There's the steel beams. There's the concrete. That's going to go flying down through there. I think I can sneak through here. Barely. That's going to go flying down through there. Of course, it's not going to fill up over here very fast. But the point is, get it going now, because the next thing's going to be to build the North Oil Refinery. That's not going to be nearly as big as the mega factory. And then by the time it's time for the mega factory, all of these containers will fill up, plus everything back there will fill up, and then these will fill up, and the train station will fill up, and then the train will be full, and yeah, that, any little bit helps. Any little bit helps. So, oh, because they're going into here. I'm like, wait a minute, there should be a few in here. Yeah, it's that. I need to put a train down too. So let me, I really just need to let the game run for a little bit, because I want to get this loaded. And yeah, we're not going to get, I didn't really think we were going to get the, like the big time lapse of building the big North Oil Refinery, but I would like to go up there and figure out exactly where it's going to be. But I need to let the game run, so I'm going to let the game run, and I'm going to figure out where the thing goes, and then I'll just bring you back just for the end of the episode. And then next episode will be the big time lapse of building the North Oil Refinery. That's going to take a few episodes. Well, one, to get the building built, but then to get all the machines in there, and then to get the trains bringing all the stuff over, plus the stuff that's over there. So that'll be several episodes. But yeah, let me let the game run and go figure out where this building's actually going to go. So I'm up here in the top. There's an oil node right here, two there, one there. So kind of just looking at this, and I got the jetpack on, so I can't stay up, but definitely kind of, I mean, that's tall. Got a couple tall things there. That's tall. A couple tall things there. I could squeeze it in here and try to go down this line, maybe like to there, and then go back and then go down. So kind of like that would be the wall. That would be the wall. This would be the wall. And this would be the wall. Could kind of squeeze it in there. Otherwise, I could go back past that pillar, and we can put it more back over the ocean. Our train tracks are just, that's it right there. Yeah, that horizontal line right there is the track. So we're not very far from the tracks. I don't necessarily care exactly where the building's going to go, as long as it's going to be big enough. And I think width-wise, going from there down to here is plenty. I'm just not sure front to back. If that thing wasn't there, it'd be perfect. I don't want to go above that. That's too tall, because I'm kind of at the level of the tracks right now, maybe right about here. So this is kind of like where I'd like the bottom floor to be, so the train can just come straight in, especially because that's going to be that gigantic oil train with however many cars. So I do not want it climbing hills. And if it goes, that's the other thing. I always thought like, oh, the oil train's going to go this way because it's quicker. It's going to be closer, because we're going to go from here to here, but it's got to go up and down several grades. If it actually went the long way, well, no, there's still some grades that way. I guess either way, there's some grades. I'm not exactly sure where the building's going to go. I probably need to play around in creative. All I want to do right now, though, is just figure out where it's going to be, so I can come back here and hook into the track and go ahead and bring my train track out, and just put one blueprint down from the building and slap down a station, and then I'm good. But I'm probably going to have to mess around with that in creative to figure out exactly how I can fit it in here without running into anything, because I definitely don't want that. And obviously the easiest solution is just to go back over the water. We could just build it back here over the water. I don't want to. I want to make it closer to the track. I think it'll look better if it's kind of up in this area, so I guess I was going to try to like get a little bit, at least get like the track over here and stuff, but I don't know where. I need to kind of like know where the building's going to go. So I guess we're going to have to end the episode here, so I can spend a bunch of time in creative and figure out exactly where the building needs to be. And then next time, then I'm, once I know where the building is, then I can bring the track over. Cause I don't want to come back here and come in at some angle and be like, okay, the track's here. And then it's like, okay, well, actually the building's going to be over there. So I should have actually brought the track through, that gap, or I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I don't know. I need to put the building down. So anyways, we'll end the episode here, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.